Hey, it is 6 o'clock Sunday night. It's Facebook Live, and here I am again. Consistency showing up. How is everyone doing today? I'm doing great. I've had a good weekend. Did I do anything great? I don't know if I did anything great, like nothing magical, you know, but a good weekend. I felt like it was a weekend of recovery more than anything, which I think we all need, right? That idea of instead of go, 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 how do we recover at times? And I think that's what this weekend was for me, which is great. Hi, Tom. Nice to see you too, buddy. Let's see. Started walking with my friend Tony this week, and that was really great. She's a next door neighbor and a dear friend of mine. And so we started walking at 6:30 in the morning during the week. So that was great. And let's see, nothing else fantastic. But today I wanted to talk to everybody who gets a chance to hear this and just about what can happen when we start labeling ourselves, and both good and bad labels. And there's real research behind this. Carol Dweck in her book, Mindset, which I love. Uh, and that idea of how do we get away from labels? Because honestly, the moment we start labeling ourselves, we start living into those labels. So the research, first of all, let me give you my backstory on this and why I think it's personally why I take I just take caution with this. When I was a kid, I was identified as talented and gifted. And at the time, they had talented and gifted programs. This, I'm dating myself, but this was back in the 70s, where they would separate from the herd those kids that, for whatever reason, had been deemed talented and gifted to go off and learn other things. Well, I had been praised my whole life around being really smart. I was praised for my ability. And so what happens when you're praised for your ability in any facet and not for your effort, the moment your ability starts to wane, so does your self-esteem. And so I reached a point in my life where I realized I was I was shining away or going away from things that I thought I couldn't be successful at because I didn't think I had an ability to do it. And I remember thinking distinctly, it's like, oh, that's not for me, or, you know, they have the real talent for this thing. It wasn't until I was so much later in life that I realized, oh, people really have to work towards things. I have to work toward things. I have to get over this thing of thinking that I have to be good at something right out of the gate in order to learn how to do it. And I can't tell you that followed me around all through school. In fact, when I got into high school, I got into, AP English. I was getting college credit. Hi, Sharon. I was getting college credit in high school, but I flamed out. I got a total F in my high school AP English class, which was shocking to everybody because my whole entire life had been praised for how smart I was. And all of a sudden, I had to apply myself in a class and I didn't know how to do it. So that's a positive, we can see this all the time in when we're talking about how do we praise our kids. And what research is telling us that what we really want to be able to do is praise our kids, praise each other on the effort being made, not on the outcome that was achieved, right? Or not on the ability it must have taken to actually get that. And the reason why, again, is because the kids live into the label. So if they're told they're a talented artist, and then one day they're not, something happens and they realize they're not that great, well, all of a sudden their self-esteem plummets and they don't want to try again. Where instead, if we start praising the effort that it must have taken to create that, then they'll go ahead and create more effort in all areas of their life. And man, this shows up all the time for people. And in subtle ways, we don't even realize how often we probably stop ourselves when going after something because of the story that we tell ourselves in our head. But the same thing obviously can happen in other ways, right? I always shy away from kind of self-assessment or assessments that give labels to people based on personality traits. In fact, I did a workshop this week with the DISC assessment. Now, this can be a super helpful assessment for people. It's often done in the corporate world, or Myers-Briggs, right? We get labeled into this is how we show up in the world. And the moment we get a label onto how we show up in the world, we live into that label. And so thinking about once we start labeling myself a D, an I, an S, or a C, and all the traits that are going into that, yes, that can be super helpful. And what I also think is we have to remember that we are humans who can evolve and who can change and flex our styles, that we aren't always just limited into a box of where we need to be. I remember I went through both an Enneagram test or assessment and a Design Your Life assessment. And I remember both of them so clearly because I didn't like what came out for me. I didn't like the title, or I didn't like the insights of it for whatever reason. And I think I just shied away from the label. I think, yeah, it's totally that, Tom, living up to expectations or fulfilling the expectations of whatever the label says. So just thinking about for ourselves, how do we label ourselves? When we have mental disorders or mental health issues, we often can start really identifying with it, like I'm depressed, or I'm anxious, and we live into that label. Now, I want you to imagine that we have a broken arm. We'd never say I'm a broken arm, right? I would say I have a broken arm. So I might be able to say I'm having symptoms of depression, or I'm showing signs of anxiety, not that I am this thing. Because once we start saying I am this thing, we start living into that label. Exactly, Tom. It's important not to pigeonhole ourselves. And when I talk to people, it's it's really amazing how often we do it, and we do it subconsciously. We have a whole story about who we are and our past, what we've experienced that put labels on ourselves that we then live out. We carry those labels around in what I call the more metaphorical life backpack. And then we think we want to create this brand new future for ourselves, but we're carrying around these old labels in our backpack of, I'm disorganized, or I'm a procrastinator. I can't do this. I can't do that. All of those are labels we put on ourselves, we put in our backpack, and then we try, we start working and think, oh, I want to create something new, but I'm a procrastinator, or I'm someone who can't get out of bed. I'm a late riser. Whatever it is, it's like, oh my gosh, stop calling ourselves that and start claiming that it is where I am right now. Instead of the label, I'm someone who right now struggles getting up early, but I'm going to work on it. I can do it, right? The power in this book of mindset is a 3-letter word, and I think it's so powerful. It is the word yet. I can't do that yet. But if I continue to apply myself, if I continue to work, move forward, keep walking in the direction I want to go, eventually I will get there. I will at least move more towards that destination I want to get to. But if we continue to make the claim that we're not, or we can't do it for all of these reasons, I'm telling you, it just makes it so much harder. You're making, instead of a road bump in front of you, so that speed bump, you're just making it a huge mountain to get over for yourself. So that's why, my friends, labels, I think, can restrict us. They can feel really helpful in the moment because we think, oh, that's why I'm this way. But then we lock ourselves into that. And for some of us, we can't seem to get around that, even the positive labels. So I hope that's it today. Just my reasoning why I try and shy away from labeling ourselves anything, and instead saying I'm someone who is showing signs, or I experience this, I often struggle with this, as opposed to saying I'm a procrastinator. I'm not someone who exercises. Instead of making whatever label or claim that is, let's make it a little less rigid and confining to who we think we are. All right, my friends, that is Sunday night Moffitt Talks Live. Whoever stopped by, I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, you're so welcome, Tom. I hope you have a great rest of your evening wherever you are and a great coming week. Check yourself, listen to your language. Where are you labeling yourself? Good night, everybody.